All right, everyone. We start off today talking about the No Kings protests, and these will be ongoing. They were not very impressive, and so Donald Trump, I think, very wisely decided to steal their thunder by putting out an AI video of him in a fighter jet, wearing a crown, of course, and he's dropping literal turds on the people that are protesting. And it's funny because people are like, well, this is a breach of decorum. The president of the United States is talking about dropping poopy whoopy on people. You're outing yourself as school marms with no sense of humor. Okay, there's number one. Number two, did you think for a moment about Trump's track record with regards to latching on to issues? Did you think to yourself there was the possibility that he was baiting you? That he was rope-a-doping you into mainly responding to what he had posted, as opposed to posting your own footage? Some of these rallies did have several thousand people at them. I mean, they're not small exactly. It's not exactly a Trump rally, but yeah, enough people showed up that it's actually photogenic, so to speak. I would note the one here in Rutland, I would say maybe 100 to 150 people or something like that, considering that the county has 55,000 people in it. That's not particularly high attendance. Again, we tend to be the swing state of Vermont. But this was a wash for the liberals. I mean, the news cycle, at least digitally, right now is mainly getting robbed by Donald Trump's post. That's mainly what they're talking about. The same liberal commentators that had been saying, "Oh, look at this amazing crowd," and it's always a very close-in shot. We've seen this propaganda before. We saw it with Beto, for example, with the competing rally that he had with Donald Trump. Trump had about 12,000 people there, and I think O'Rourke got like 2 or 3,000. But then they would have a very close-in shot of the Trump rally, making it seem there were only a few hundred people, and they would pull it out to show the entire crowd at the Beto rally. But then, the facts came in, and it was sort of like a Sandman situation all over again. It's all about the way that you display multimedia, and that influences people as well. That No King's Day overall is a nothing burger. This is no different than the Pink Pussy Hats or anything like that. It's certainly not as many people as the Summer of Hate riots or anything like that. Mostly they were peaceful. And keep in mind, these people have the right to express themselves. If they do genuinely believe that Donald Trump is some sort of evil dictator, I would argue with them. I would tell them that I believe that they're wrong, but they have the right to have that opinion. So, by and large, peaceful protesting. There was only a few scattered reports of any problems, so that's the good part. But for the people that participated, though, you're being outshined by Donald Trump effortlessly with a 27-second AI-generated clip of him pooping on you. And then it was funny to see these people complaining about it. So you're complaining about, well, the President of the United States did a poop meme. You have spent almost a decade now constantly describing Trump as a big fat orange baby that shits himself all the time. I mean, some of these people are literally obsessed with shit. Isn't Trump giving you effectively what you want, therefore? Apparently, you can't even think about anything other than poop. Well, Donald Trump gave you exactly what you wanted. The fact is that he did this on purpose. He's preempting the news cycle. He's basically pushing aside and bullying out of the news cycle a bunch of other content. You know that the legacy media is going to say, wow, there were such big crowds and everyone hates Trump and we must stand for democracy. Even though Trump was democratically elected, I would point out, we must stand against the evil fascists, whatever the fuck that means these days, because the term seems to have effectively lost any real meaning, so to speak. Fascist. That fascist over there didn't give me $10 so that I could buy a bowl of soup at Panera. That's fascism these days. Yeah, fucking fascist. I believe there was a King of the Hill joke actually about that basic premise, if I remember correctly. With the hippie chick there, and Hank Hill doesn't want to give her money, and so he's a fascist. It's basically the same thing. The fact is that the rallies themselves, most of them were small. There were some that were large, but I mean, if you can only get a few thousand people together in a very, very far blue area with a metropolitan population of several million, this is not impressive. It does not impress anyone. Oh, look at the rally. That's fun. Yeah, Charlie Kirk could get more people than that to show up at pretty much anything that he did. Certainly Donald Trump can. If Steven Crowder decides to set up shop on a college campus, he'll probably have 1,000 people watching him too. It happens all the time. I thought about trolling the local protest, but when I saw the size of it, at first, I'm like, that'd be kind of fun. I can wave a Trump flag around. Then I couldn't find the Trump flag. Oops. I'll have to wait until next weekend, I suppose. They'll probably be at it for a while, but it's going to get a lot smaller. This is going to be one of those flash in the pan sort of things. This is not likely to metastasize into a long-term movement. This is probably their peak, actually. What's going to happen is that people who have jobs, they're going to go to their jobs. A handful of people will go and weather the cold or the rain or whatever and continuously protest. This has been happening for years and years. And not just under the Trump administration. There are people that were technically perpetual protesters under Biden. They had the same thing under Obama. You remember the Occupy movement and things like that. Bush, certainly, he suffered that problem. This happens with every president. This is nothing new. This is nothing, in fact, this is more pathetic than normal. I would have thought that considering the fact that supposedly your opponent is the mentally challenged version of Adolf Hitler that wants to entirely destroy your republic, because this is what I'm being told on a daily basis by these people, I would think that you could probably pour out more people than that. Instead, you're getting ratioed by the president who's literally posting poop memes. This does not speak well of your particular organizational efforts. And this is what we've seen, by the way, from the left more recently in a more general sense. They just don't get it. They're incapable of fundamentally organizing. Now, some of these people are paid protesters and stuff like that. There are powers that be pouring billions of dollars into trying to get this to be a thing, but that really it doesn't work so well. We're in the era of memes and AI and stuff like that. The president just trolled every single one of you and totally stole your thunder by spending what? How much of his own money, because he probably had to, did he spend on this ad slash non-ad? A few thousand, maybe a few tens of thousands? Dude, that's been dispensed 100 times over just paying people to attend these rallies. If you think that it's all organic, then you're completely wrong. Now, they'll take up all the itinerants and offer them $10 just to hold a sign or something like that. By the way, both political parties in the United States do things like this, just in full admission. But this is nothing. Wow, you got several million people. So you got less than 1% of the population of the United States to protest on a weekend day. Yeah, wow. You're putting it to fascism. You're going to overthrow the big orange baby or something like that. Meanwhile, he's just laughing at you. He's laughing at you, I think, more, not even because of the meme itself, but the fact that it distracted you so easily. He's done this, what, a fucking dozen times before? News cycle gets out there. Looks bad for Donald. So he makes a joke. And all of a sudden, they're just talking about the joke. Half the people don't even give a shit about your rally. I don't. It was unimpressive. Again, I'm in one of the bluest states in the nation. You can only get like 100, maybe 150 people to sit there for a few hours. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. But everyone's resharing the Trump meme with the fighter jet. I've noticed that. And again, he's been a master of doing this. And the liberals are so disjointed, they don't even really have a leadership structure at the moment. It's very difficult for them to actually try to do what they need to do. Liberals tend to be more hierarchical, so they need a strong leadership structure. I've spoken about this in like occult memetics. The reason why people on the right tended to outflank them for so long and still basically are is because of the disorganized fashion. They're capable of functioning in an organized capacity without actual organization. You don't see this with left-wing movements. They need a very rigorous motivation. They need a Soviet system, basically. They need to have, the Politburo and stuff like that in order to function at all. Everything has to be centrally planned. The tale of two cities, I suppose. So yeah, congrats to Trump. You stumped them again. That's about all. Peace out.